Okay, 10 questions and answers in English about how to learn English. In English, only okay. One. What is the best way to start learning English? The best way is to begin with the basics, common words, simple grammar, and short conversations. How important is daily practice in learning English? Daily practice is very important because consistency helps your brain remember new words and structures. Can watching movies or series in English help? Yes, watching movies and series help improve listening, pronunciation, and vocabulary in a fun way. Is grammar necessary to speak English well? Yes, but you don't need to be perfect. Basic grammar is enough to communicate clearly. How can I improve my English vocabulary? You can improve by reading books, keeping a vocabulary journal, and using new words in conversations. Does speaking with native speakers make a big difference? Yes, it helps you practice real life situations, correct mistakes, and gain confidence. Can listening to music in English help me learn? Of course, music makes learning fun and help you understand pronunciation and slang. What should I do if I feel she speaking English? Start with short sentences, practice with a friend, and remember that making mistakes is part of learning. Uh, is it better to study alone or with a teacher? Um, Both are good. A teacher gives guidance, but studying alone builds independence and discipline. How long does it take to learn English friendly? It depends on your effort, but with constant practice, you can see big progress in a year. Henry by Charles Bukowski, Chapter 13. I was in the fourth grade when I found out about it. I was probably one of the last to know. Because I still didn't tell to anybody, a boy walked up to me while I was standing around at recess. Don't you know how it happens? He asked. What? Fucking. What's that? Your mother has a hole. He took the thumb and forefinger of his right hand and made a circle. And your father has a dog. He took his left forefinger and, and ran it back and took the hole. And then your father's dog shooks you, and sometimes your mother has a baby and sometimes she doesn't. What makes babies? I said. Like shit, the kid said and walked off. It was hard for me to believe. When recess was over, I sat in class and talked about it. My mother had a hole in, and my father had a dog that shot juice. How could they have how could they have things like that and walk around as if everything was normal and talk about things and then do it and not tell anybody? I really feel like puking when I talk that I had started off of my father's juice. Uh, that night, after the lights were out, I stayed awake in bed and listened. Sure enough, I began to hear sounds. The bed began creaking. I could hear the springs. I got out of bed and tiptoed down to their door and listened. The bed kept making sounds. Then it stopped. I hurried back down the hall and into my bedroom. I heard my mother go into the bathroom. I heard the toilet flush, and then she walked out. What a terrible thing. No wonder they did it in secret. And to think everybody did it. The teachers, the principal, everybody. It was pretty stupid. Then I Then I thought about doing it with Lila Jane, and I didn't seem to dump. The next day in class, I talked about it all day and looked at the little girls and imagined myself doing it with them and want to do it with all of them and make babies. I feel the worst with guys like me with baseball players, home run hitters. That day just before class ended, the teacher, Mr. Westphal, said, Henry, will you stay after class? And the bell rang and the other children left. I sat at my desk and waited. Mr. Westphal was correcting papers. I thought maybe she wants to do it with me. I imagined pulling her dress up and looking at her hall. All right, Mr. Westphal, I'm ready. She looked up from her papers. All right, Henry, first erase all the blackboards. Then take the erasers outside and dust them. I did as I was told, then sat back down at my desk. Mr. Westphal just sat there correcting papers. She had on a tight blue dress. She wore large golden earrings, had a tiny nose, and wore rimless glasses. I waited and I waited, and then I said, Mr. Westphal, why did you keep me after school? She looked up. She looked up and stared at me. Her eyes were green and deep. I kept you after school because sometimes you're bad. Oh, yeah, I smiled. Mr. Westphal looked at me. She took her glasses off and kept staring. Her legs were behind the desk. I couldn't look up her dress. You were very inattentive today, Henry. Yeah? Yes, is the word. You're addressing a lady. Oh, I know. Don't get sassy with me. Whatever you say. Mr. Westphal stood up and came out from behind her desk. She walked down the aisle and sat on the top of desk across from me. She had nice long legs in silk stockings. She smiled at me, reached out a hand and touched one of my wrists. Your parents don't give you much love today. I don't need that stuff, I told her. Henry, everybody needs love. I don't need anything. You poor boy. She stopped up, came to my desk and slowly took my head in her hands. She bent over and pressed it against her breast. I rushed around and grabbed her legs. Henry, you must stop fighting everybody. We want to help you. I grabbed Mr. Westphal's legs harder. All right, I said, let's fuck. Mr. Westphal pushed me away and stuck back. What did you say? I said, let's fuck. Uh, uh, she looked at me a long time. Then she said, Henry, uh, I am never going to tell anybody what you said, not the principal or your parents or anybody. But I never want you to say that to me again. Do you understand? I understand. All right, you can go home now. Now, I got up and walked toward the dark. When I opened it, Mr. Westphal said, Good afternoon, Henry. Good afternoon, Mr. Westphal. I walked down the street wondering about it. I felt she wanted to fuck, but was afraid because I was too young for her and that my parents or the principal might find out. I had been exciting and being in the room with her alone. This thing about fucking was nice. It gave people extra things to think about. There was one large boulevard to cross on the way home. I entered the crosswalk. Suddenly, there was a car coming right at me. I didn't slow down. It was Winley Whitley. I tried to run its path, but it appeared to follow me. I saw headlights, wheels, a bumper. The car hit me and then there was blackness.